So this is an Apple Pencil. Well, not really, but it's the closest thing I could find for much less money than an actual Apple Pencil. Have you ever been looking at iPad accessories on Amazon, maybe cases or screen protectors, and then all of a sudden in the sidebar, you see almost an Apple Pencil? It's certainly not one of the cheap styluses. It requires power, it's got magnets, it's got Bluetooth, but it's significantly cheaper than the real thing. So today I wanted to take a look at one of these and discuss what the differences are between these and the real things, who should buy them, and who should probably just pay for the real thing. Okay, so first off, a little bit of background. I initially bought this after having it recommended for me after I bought a case for my iPad Pro, as I was just plain curious. I don't draw very much, however, I do a lot of work on my iPad Pro with photo editing, so I thought it might be nice to have something like this around, and so with that, I put it in my cart and started using it. But is it actually worth it over the super cheap non-Bluetooth just styluses, or should you buy the real thing? Well, first of all, in terms of build quality, this thing actually does feel pretty solid. Its metal construction came with two tips, one installed and one for replacing. It charges via USB-C and it is magnetic, so you can stick it to your iPad to ensure that you don't lose it, just like an Apple Pencil. One thing to say though, with mine, it doesn't exactly match up exactly like it would with a real Apple Pencil, and it doesn't charge with your iPad. So two little gripes there, but nothing major. It connects via Bluetooth, and while this certainly isn't as simple as it is on the legit side of things, connection is still very simple. At least once you got it set up, all you got to do is click it on and it'll be connected. Battery life on this model is also pretty good, going on for several weeks without ever needing to charge it. I personally barely ever charge mine. Well, of course, all of this will vary from brand to brand, some having more features like better battery life, and a lot of them, including mine, actually have tilt sensitivity built in. If you are planning on picking up one of these pencils, then make sure to read the description, because obviously it's not uniform like it is on the Apple Pencil side of things. Alright, so now let's get into some performance. How does it handle writing, photo editing, and drawing? Let's find out. First of all, writing, because if I don't talk about it, someone's going to ask, so I might as well cover it. Now, to be totally honest, I can't really write very well or for very long without my words turning to a squiggle on the page, and seeing as I'm not a student and I don't really need to be making notes anyway, writing isn't necessarily all that important for me anyway. That said, I am working on it. I don't really want to have doctor's handwriting forever. That said though, the writing experience on the iPad I use, which is the 2018 iPad Pro, using this pencil is actually pretty good. You do get palm rejection due to the fact that, again, this is a smart pencil. It's not just any old stylus that looks like an Apple Pencil, and this means that you don't accidentally make a lot of lines on your page when you're just trying to take some notes. Things that you do miss out on though are just little touches that make the Apple Pencil such a nice experience to use, namely the tap for eraser and other gestures that might be useful when you're taking notes with the Apple Pencil, but sadly, they're not available here. That's about it though. Still nice to have the not, but changing pencils, actually writing, and almost all of the functionality you would get with a regular Apple Pencil is available on one of these cheaper smart pencils. To be honest though, at least with my personal experience, there's not much else I can say on writing. As I said, I don't really write with this thing. However, something that I do a lot of is photo editing. So when I initially bought this thing, I did actually want to switch entirely over to photo editing on the iPad Pro. And while this has come with some issues, namely after I dropped my phone on my iPad Pro and the screen broke, I mean, if that doesn't say something for ceramic shield technology, I don't know what will. This has mainly been a fantastic experience, partially thanks to the pencil. Being able to both accurately and quickly paint over areas where you want to create a mask, or just being able to move the slider that much more easily, or selections, masking, all of that is so much easier with this pencil. It's super accurate, which is nice, as often my experiences with styluses in the past haven't exactly been like this, and the added palm rejection that this pencil actually has means that I can rest my hand on my iPad without accidentally adjusting something. That's not a good experience when you're trying to edit on an iPad. Again, a lot of this is thanks to the fact that this is a smart pencil, just not an Apple Pencil, and while certain pressure-based functions may not work, most of the photo editing features at least work really well with this thing. And so, if that's all you're planning on doing with it, this thing works amazingly well. Also, a word on pressure sensitivity stuff. In most photo editing applications like Lightroom, there is a workaround for it. Often this is time-based, or as it is with Illustrator, a little thing on the screen. But regardless, 9 out of 10 times there is a workaround. Finally, we have drawing and sketching. While I am not a great artist, I do often enjoy doing some light sketches in my downtime, not for any reason other than the fact that I like blending colors and testing out fun brushes. And I, for personally really enjoyed using it for this. However, I do think this is where the real deal Apple Pencil really starts to separate itself from the competitors. Gestures and pressure sensitivity really do come into play more when you are doing drawings, especially when you don't have a keyboard for shortcuts. If you are doing art professionally or just to a higher level than my silly sketches, chances are you probably will want the bonus features from the Apple Pencil, considering a lot of those features, at least on iPadOS, do quite a good job of actually compensating for the lack of shortcuts like you might get with a traditional PC Cintiq art setup. Again, you are missing out on things like tap for eraser, which can actually be pretty useful in a drawing environment, and while the tilt sensitivity offered on my model is a nice feature, it's not particularly useful. I would much rather just manually adjust my brushes, but again, all of this is preference. I have also used this thing for rough sketches and storyboarding, whenever I'm trying to plan out a shoot or a thumbnail, and just sketching out different frames that I need is both very useful and very easy with this pencil. So again, while other features like tap to erase and other gestures would be nice in this instance, I never really find myself wanting those extra features too much. Personally, the double tap to undo in Procreate works totally fine for me, but again, if you are doing longer illustrations, I really do think this is where the Apple Pencil starts to separate itself a bit. Okay, so now we're going to talk specifically about the features the Apple Pencil has that this doesn't. So again, gestures and pressure sensitivity. As I said, gestures like tap to eraser really do come in handy in certain situations, and in a lot of apps, pressure sensitivity with the Apple Pencil is incredibly useful. And again, while there is usually a workaround, I think the main difference between this and the Apple Pencil is mostly nice to haves. Again, as I said, proper magnetic alignment, charging with the iPad, it's those bonus features that add up to make the Apple Pencil that really premium device that it is. And while something like this gets you 80% of the way there, whether or not that last 20% is worth it is very much up to you. Alright, so finally, let's summarize who should actually consider buying one of these. Well, if you are a keen photo editor like I am, so you still want to be able to accurately and intuitively adjust your Lightroom levels or work in Affinity Photo smoothly, then honestly, this pencil is actually a pretty solid buy. I certainly have no regrets buying this thing. Also, if you are just a hobbyist artist or just quickly need to do some mock-ups, again, this thing works great for that. However, if you are a more serious digital artist, then honestly, the Apple Pencil probably is just worth the extra money. You get more features that I personally think would be more useful in these scenarios. And again, while I don't feel like I need a legit Apple Pencil, I certainly would want more than a cheap stylus. And I think this provides a really nice middle ground. Of course, it's more expensive than those little styluses you can get on eBay or Amazon, or even free with certain cases. However, it's still significantly cheaper than even the first generation Apple Pencil. So if what I've talked about in this video does make this thing sound appealing to you, then it might be worth checking one out. However, if the bonuses you get with the Apple Pencil do sound appealing to you, there are ways to get real Apple Pencils cheaper, such as Apple Refurbished. I've seen some great deals on Apple Pencils there, or just buying used. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Let me know, by the way, have you ever tried one of these $30 Apple Pencil alternatives? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you end up buying the real thing? Feel free to let me know in the comments. I always enjoy reading those. As for now though, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, then smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.